Hello, this is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State, and I welcome you to my weekly Casing the Catalog video and blog that is free to you to watch and get all kinds of hints and tips about how to use Stampin' Up! Products to make projects that you enjoy and can share with others. It is only like 11 days until the new catalog goes live, and I have some as I'm making this, now it might post at a different time, but as I'm in the process of producing some samples for you to see, it may have already gone live by the time this goes up on YouTube, but I did want to share with you that on page 28, I bought the Pansy Petals Suite, and I have been enjoying it a little bit, and I wanted to share with you for my casing the catalog this week. I'm going to be casing this project right here. Now I will say that this project uses the ombre bags. They have ombre bags, and I should have marked the page they were on, but I didn't. See if I can find it for you fairly quickly. Yes, they're on page 137, and they're right here, ombre gift bags, and that's what it used to make this. I didn't have the bags, I don't have them yet, but I'm going to try to imitate and make it a card instead. So let's get started, and I'll show you what we're going to do. First of all, let me show you the card. This is my finished rendition of that card. And then I will tell you how I made it. Started with a standard basic white thick card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and made ready to do a side fold A2 base card. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure I cut this piece right before I start. I'm going to cut another piece of basic white regular, and it's also going to be 4 1/4. Get that off of there. By 5.5, which it already is. Okay, and because I'm going to do something with that and then attach it to the front of the card. Then I cut a piece of the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper, and this piece is 3 inches wide by 4.5 inches long. This piece that's going to become our little art piece is basic white regular, and it is 2 1/4 by 4. Then I cut out the pieces for the flowers, all the different flowers, and this is the new pale papaya, and you have to have 2 of those to make the pansy. Then this is just basic white, and it's the main piece. This is also pale papaya. These 2 pieces are Calypso Coral, and they'll go on to the flowers. This one is Calypso Coral. These are one of the new in colors, Soft Succulent, and these pieces are some of the new in colors as well, and they are the Evening Evergreen pieces. So I've got them all punched out, ready to go, so you don't have to watch me do that much at least. Get all the little chads out of there though. Okay, so there's all the pieces, and let's start with coloring this piece. Now, because they used the ombre colored gift bag that's in the catalog, it was already colored in that ombre look. So obviously I need to try and imitate that. And the way I did that was with the blending brush and the Fresh Freesia ink, which is one of the new in color inks. And I just started brushing back and forth until I got the amount of color I wanted on it. I'm not super perfectionistic, so I may not make it as perfection as you would. And that's okay. You know, it just is what it is. I don't know that I particularly care when I get that brush, that dark spot in the brushing, but you know, I don't know. It ends up looking just beautiful when you get done. And I wanted it to definitely go from darker to lighter. And so it's just a matter of experimenting with what you've got. I want it to be definitely darker here, down here at the bottom. I think that's good enough. So we'll put that aside. And then it was embossed with one of the new embossing folders as well. And the name of that embossing folder used in the catalog, see if I can find it here, was Checks and Dots. Checks and Dots embossing folder. I don't have that yet either. It takes a while to collect all this stuff. So I substituted, and that's kind of what it's about, isn't it? It's about being able to substitute. You don't have to make it exactly like the catalog, and yet you can still use the catalog images to imitate. So I am using instead the brick and mortar embossing folder. And this is one of the three-dimensional or 3D dynamic, whatever you want to call them, embossing folders. And so to do this in your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you just use the base plate only, number 1, put this in, and then use the number 4 embossing plate. So let me do that off screen. We'll get that over here for you. It makes a big difference when you emboss it. It makes the coloring look even better. And the irregularities in the color actually lend to the whole view of it. I really ended up liking it a lot when I did that. Now I'm going to just use my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to attach this to the front of the card base. With the darker at the bottom, so this is the opening, and the lighter at the top, just like that. There's the card front. Now I'm going to build the flowers next. And for this, I didn't use the adhesive sheets. I'm going to build them using my Zig 2-way glue pen. If you any kind of liquid glue you could use. This is my go-to. So these two are cut from Pale Papaya, and the 2 pieces that accent them have been cut from Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to put the ink right on the edge of this because that's where they go. And get a hold of it and attach it. Oopsie. Stick to me, don't stick to me. There's that piece. And I don't know if you can hear that little chirping in the background. That's just my clock. I love birds, and so I have a clock that chirps on the hour. And I covered it up so it wouldn't be so loud, but it still chirps. So I don't know if you can hear it or not, but that's what that was if you could. So those are ready to go. And then this is from Pale Papaya, and I cut the main part of the flower from this basic white. And I'm going to go ahead and put that together, again, just using the Zig 2-way. Like, helps if you do it right. There we go. The thing nice about glue is it gives you a little bit of time to get everything lined up perfectly. And just hold it in place a little bit so it'll stay stuck. There we go. So there's that piece. Then we've got the leaves. And so the soft succulent is the base portion. and the evening evergreen is the accent pieces. I had to open up my evening evergreen. I hadn't used it yet. It is a very pretty color. Both of these greens are really lovely. So, and it's just a matter of lining up those edges and sticking those together. Just like that. There's that. Then for this stem and flower, it had the accent of the darker tip. So I just took and cut two of these, one from Soft Succulent and one from Evening Evergreen. And then I just snipped off that stem part that I'm not going to use. And then I just left this attached. You could cut this one off as well and attach them to each other, but I used it like this and just covered it up with the darker green. So it has that contrast like it did in the sample. We'll get it lined up well, stick it together so it can dry. And then we have the small flower to build, and this pale papaya piece fits over the white piece, and you can see there's lots of room to put glue on there, so I'm just going to do this and put this on. And then once I get it semi-stuck, I can pick it up and line up the back side. And I just lined up the little thing at the round part of the bottom, and then it just fits into place like that. And then this is going to attach to that, just like that. So again, I just put the glue right here on the bottom of this and then attached this to it. And again, once it starts to stick, then I can pick it up and do any adjusting that I need to do. It's got time to move around a little bit. So there's that stem one. Now let's finish building this large flower. But before we do, I'm going to bring in some Calypso Coral stamp pad and some Bumblebee ink pad and a blender pen. And I am going to use the blender pen to add some color. Shading can make something you make go from flat to pop in just so quickly and so easily. And so we're going to add some shading to these colors here so that it adds some dimension and depth and texture to this card. And so I'm using the blender pen and I'm getting a little bit of ink on it, but I don't want too much. I don't want it to go on too dark, so I'm going to use some scratch paper off to the side to kind of make sure I'm getting to the shade I want. And then I'm just going to come up in here, and there's not a right or wrong way to do it. It's just feather that color out a little bit from the base of those two petals. Don't worry about being exact. The less exact you are, probably the better it is. Okay, so there's those two pieces, and then for the flower here, the main part of the flower, this little piece is going to set right in here. Let me get it right. Oh yeah, turn it over again. Right like this. And it all lines up. You can see these two little prongs here, they line up right with those, where those pale papaya ones end. These fit in there just perfect like that. Now you could go ahead and glue that in. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and just glue that in place, because we can still add the color. Hold it for a second or two. There we go. Now for this, in the main part of this white part of this flower, I'm going to add Bumblebee. And I'm just going to come out like it's coming out from behind, like a pansy does, you know, with that beautiful little yellow accent. And like I say, you can't do it wrong. Just, I like it. It looks good. Okay, now we're going to put those pieces together and finish making that big flower. Get this out of the way. And for this, you could use a glue dot to put these together because it sticks so nicely. And I just put a glue dot right here like that. And then I overlapped them just however much you want. It's not, you can kind of see where I did it there. And then I'm going to put another piece, another glue dot, I should say, right there. And I'm going to use it to attach this. Just like that. Flowers coming together. Then I'm going to put another glue dot right in the middle of that white spot right there, because that's where this little teardrop shaped piece goes to make the flower center. Just like that. And so there's the flower. Now these leaves are going to attach, and I'm going to use glue dots for those as well. And I'm just going to put a single glue dot right at the base of each of those leaves, because they tuck behind the main flower. And so then I just stuck them back there like that. So there's that. And then this stem, again, I just used a little glue dot. And I stuck it right on the front of the stem, kind of down in here, so that I could situate it the way I wanted it. And I wanted it to kind of come up from behind the leaves, and I wanted it to stand up as far as I could. The stem's only just so long. And there's that flower all completed. Now we're going to stick this to this art piece, but let's build the base of the card first. This piece I just put on with regular adhesive. I laid my adhesive down. There it is. Here's my stamp and seal. And this one got stuck to the front just at a slight angle this way. This is from that Pansy Patch DSP. And then this one, oh, I got to put the border on this. I almost forgot. Let me get some things out of the way so that I can do the border. There's a new set of dies in the catalog called Basic Borders Dies. Let me get them up here so I can show them to you. Right here, Basic Borders. And there are 6 different borders. And I'm going to be using this cute little scalloped and stitched one. And I'm going to put it on here like this and just take a little bit off the end of this piece and make a pretty little scallop. And I got to go off screen to do that. So let me get that ready here. And I will do that. And I'm hoping you're going to get really excited about this stamp set. It's just so lovely. Okay, there we go. So there it is. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. Okay, so now I'm going to also attach this piece with regular stamp and seal. And it's, boy, that stamp and seal is really sticky. And then it's going to go at just an opposite angle. A bit like that. Good enough. Now I'm going to attach this flower piece that we built, and it's going to get attached with dimensionals. And we'll put some on each of those leaves. We're going to put one on this flower. And I'm going to put about 3 more here. Just like that. And then it's just a matter of putting this on here at the angle I want. And that looks perfectly good right there. Okay, now for some bling. We have the In Color 21 through 23 jewels. There's jewels in 2 different sizes. They're on page 142 of your catalog. There's 100 pieces in the 5 different In Colors, and they're in 2 sizes, 3 and 4 millimeter. And you can see them here. Hopefully you can see them. And I just randomly picked some of the larger ones is what I used. And I just randomly picked colors and put them where I thought I'd like them. Not a right or wrong way to do it. Oh, let's go over there. Oh, I want to save some room because I got to put my happy birthday on there. I almost forgot. Let's put this over here. We do have the happy birthday. I am going to stamp that with freesia, and I'll be honest, I should have stamped that before we started putting the flower on there. Let's hope I can make it fit. Let's hope. I might have to pick it up because I should have put it on before I put the flower on. Let's see here. We will see what we can do. Oh, yes. Let's just pick this little thing up. You know, in designing, you just never know when something's going to get away from you. So let's see if we can save this thing. Might have to come back and do some repair work because it's not cooperating really well. Okay, I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to put my happy birthday right here. And then I'm going to adjust. This is going to have to come over just a little bit. Let's see if we can. Oh, yes, it'll be okay. There we go. And we'll put that in there like that. There we go. That works. You know, we make mistakes all the time. And when we're, and you know, I could edit them out and make you think that I just always do it perfectly. But you know what? I want you to know it's okay to make a mistake and it's okay to figure out how to fix them. You know, it's just okay. And I tell my people at my workshops all the time, you know, oh, well, let's see what we can do to fix that, you know, because we'll be making something and they'll goof up, they'll move ahead too quickly and go, oh, I already did that. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. And we fix it, and it's okay. Let's finish putting on a few more blings. And not real sure I'm ready for that to, there, that's better. There we go. And let's put on a little bit more bling. Put one down here by the happy birthday. That's probably enough, because then I also wanted to put on one of my favorite new things from the catalog, and that is the Bumblebee Trinkets. These things are just so cute, and if you make very many flower cards, you're going to fall in love with them as well. They attach perfectly with a mini glue dot on the back of them, just like this. And I'm going to have him flying in here and checking out that little flower. And that is my casing the catalog video for the week. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. You can share with your friends. I would love to have more people subscribe to my blog. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you like these products and would like to shop for them, please shop my online store. The link to that is in the description below. Thank you so much for stopping by.